Well, earlier this month, history was made as two cities in Massachusetts elected their first Latino city councilors. Voters in Haverhill elected the city's first Latino to public office as 22-year-old Andy Vargas finished third for city council in his first run for political office with more than 3,800 votes. While all the way across in Waltham, Carlos Vidal won one of 6 councilor at-large seats in the city's election, earning the distinction of being the first Hispanic voted to Waltham's council with more than 4,800 votes. Vargas is from Dominican parents and Vidal was born in Peru. This morning we have invited both of them to get to know each a little better. Welcome to Urban Update, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having
Andy,
me.
let me start with you.
Sure.
Why don't we just start by just sort of giving our viewers just a little background about yourself. Tell us, one of you is a little something about yourself.
Well, my name is Andy Vargas again. I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to get a good education and really live the American dream through my parents who came here from, my family who came here from the Dominican Republic, worked in the shoe factories in Haverhill, and now I've had the opportunity to run for office in Haverhill as a 22-year-old, and I'm forever thankful for that opportunity. I have been passionate about civic engagement since I was 16 and 17 years old. At 17, through an organization called Teens Leading the Way, we helped file legislation to bring civic education back into our high schools, and ever since then, I've been on a path towards public service and focusing my experiences in that sector.
Wow, 22 years old, too. Your first run for public office.
Yes,
that is amazing. Carlos, so what about you? A little background for our viewers from you.
First, I'm not 22 years old to start.
But you look it, though.
okay.
You know?
Thank you very much. I'm originally from Peru. I moved here to the U.S. back in 1989, escaping some of the violence that was happening back there. And we moved to the Boston area with my mom and my older brother. And I've been working since. I've done a lot of all kinds of work. I've been to school, I also did college, but I've been involved with politics probably for the last 6 years approximately since moving to Waltham. I thought it was very important to run to represent a Latino community that's there. It's quite large, and also just to make sure we make Waltham a better city.
Okay, all right. Now, Andy, again, 22 years old. Give us a little historic perspective of how long it's been since Haverhill has had a Latino candidate run for office.
Well, Haverhill has actually never had a Latino candidate run for office. So we not only elected the first Latino, but we also had the first Latino candidate, which is something that I've been, blessed and honored to have, be able to say, because now I get folks saying like, hey, I've seen you do it, has made me feel like I can do it too. So yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've ever had one.
22-year-old role model, that's something to say. Carlos, I guess, what about you? What made you run? What clicked in your head?
I ran 2 years ago for the first time, and I came in 162 votes shy from making it. So I wanted to run because I want to make Waltham a better city for everyone. I want to improve communications. I want to talk about road infrastructure. I want to improve the mix of businesses that we have in Waltham. So I'm passionate about Waltham. It's my city. I've been there since 2003, and I really, really want to make sure Waltham becomes a better city for everyone.
Now, you've also made history there as well. Talk to me a little bit about your campaign and I guess the significance of your new constituents.
Sure. It was interesting to, when I started my campaign, I am a Latino, and I didn't run on that platform. I did want to reach out to everyone. I want to make sure everyone knew that I was there to support the whole community. We are a community of 62,000 people, and I presented my ideas to the whole community to improve communications, to create a greater mix of business, and so on.
And Andy, I had the same question for you. I guess what made you run?
Sure.
What sort of clicked in your head?
Well, I think
22 years old.
Well, I think similar to Carlos, I ran not on the Latino platform, although I find it a blessing to be able to say I am Latino. I ran on improving the city services to all of the residents that we have in Haverhill. And I also ran a grassroots campaign that I think was unprecedented in Haverhill. We had 75 plus volunteers. We knocked on 5,000 doors. We made 2,000 phone calls. And I think that's really the only way that we were able to come, in the top 3 within the ticket.
By the way, I believe we're looking at a picture of someone's shoes.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was my campaign headquarters in my.
I heard a story, something about you wearing out a pair of shoes.
Yeah, those are the pair of shoes wore out when we knocked on those 5,000 doors. It was.
Was your family involved in the campaign?
Oh, absolutely. Without them, without my family, my friends, the supporters, the high school interns that we had, the senior volunteers that we had, none of this would have been possible. So I definitely want to thank all of them for the hard work that they put into this.
Okay, Carlos, you didn't wear out a pair of shoes like that, did you?
No, I had some people that I actually was switching shoes through the campaign to make sure I did
That's a smarter idea,
Okay.
you know?
But I also did some of the work. I got some volunteers. What's interesting is that I moved to Waltham in 2003, and I don't have a network as more the other councilors might have. So it was an uphill battle from the beginning to get out there, to hit those doors, to make those calls, and so on.
One thing I'd like to ask both of you, I guess, with both of your wins, what does this say about just the changing demographics in the state of Massachusetts?
Well, I think it says a lot. I mean, there's the different groups of people, in this case Latinos or any other groups, Asians and so on, are getting quite large in the state, and I think all of them are actually just finding the political area to be a stepping point to get into different areas within their communities. I think they want to be represented. They want to see someone at positions that kind of look like them, and that's the way I look at it.
What do you think about that?
Absolutely, I can echo what Carlos said, but also I think when we talk about demographics, we also talk about age, and I think people are very open to having young people run for office. They see that we are innovative, we know how to use technology, we are seeking the new strategies to bring our cities into the 21st century, and so I think that not only being Latino but also being young was an advantage on the campaign trail. But again, I would like to see more young people, more Latinos, more folks who traditionally have been disenfranchised from the political process to step in and say, hey, my voice matters too.
Let's talk about issues. I guess what are the top issues, top 2 or 3 issues that you feel passionate about that you think you're going to have to deal with?
Again, I was talking to Andy earlier. We both agree on something: improving communications between City Hall and its residents. I think that's very important. In my case, creating a greater mix of business and improving road infrastructure.
What about you?
Absolutely. I think number one, and just because we have folks dying every single week in Haverhill, is the heroin crisis. And my main thing with that is treating this as a mental health and a public health issue, because we need to accept that what we're doing now of throwing people in jail and expecting them to come out okay and is not working. So that's our number one issue that we're having in Haverhill, because folks are dying every week. Number 2 is similar to what Carlos said also, and I think you'll find this across cities across the country, is a communication issue with City Hall and its residents. What I've been campaigning on is letting folks know that their local government matters just as much, if not more, than their federal or state government.
Now, a lot of cynics say that with politics being in such a toxic state, all you have to do is look at what's going on in the presidential race, that it dissuades young people. Now, you guys are new blood coming in here. Do you see these things? Do you have the sense that this sort of the state of politics dissuades young people from going into the field and public service?
I believe so. I think to a degree, when you see, at the national level how things are looking and people get really discouraged by what's going on, I think it affects people's minds. They might not want to go into politics, but once they get to it, and I think Andy might agree with me on this, they realize there's a lot more you can do at a local level, and that's when you get started at the local level.
What do you think about that, Andy?
Absolutely, I agree. I think we're doing amazing things in the private sector, especially young people with all these startups, innovative ideas to look at solving some of the world's most pressing problems. But I would like to see more young people saying, I would like to solve many of government's problems. So making that a little bit more attractive to them would involve, having more young people run for office so that they can say, that guy ran, so I think I can do it too.
Okay, well, Carlos Vidal, thank you for coming in. Congratulations,
Thank you.
City Councilor at large.
At
So you had to
large.
get votes for the entire city.
Exactly.
And Andy Vargas, 22-year-old Andy Vargas, congratulations
Thank
to
you
you
very
too.
much.
Good luck in your careers.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you can both make a big difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for this edition of Urban Update. For the entire team here, I'm Byron Barnett. Have a great Sunday, everyone.